But let's get into the 5 takeaways. First up, we're going to be looking at we only need 10 men.
Yeah, and despite the fact we went down to 10 men after 7 minutes, I think we got to be proud of how the team reacted and continued to go forward. In fact, despite the fact in the first half we went down to 10 men, we still maintained 63% possession in that first half, which showed that we didn't want to move away from how we want to play, even though we were a man down. And obviously, we created one big chance. We had 2 shots, and we outpassed Qarabag in that first half, 320 to 180, which goes to show how we stuck to the way we were playing it, especially in that first half with 10 men. Second half was a bit different. Qarabag did have 66% possession, and they did outpass us 295 to 149. So we had to be a bit more transitional in that second half. But, you know, we showed in Brentford, if you want to go a bit more transitional, we can also make that work as well. And we can be direct, and it maybe create a bit more space. And maybe we're starting to show we have a couple more strings to our bow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, that's been a big criticism of Ange, hasn't it? That we can only play one way and there's no variation in our play. And I think the last 2 games has really shown that Ange can do a few different things during the game, whether it be make us a bit more transitional, concede possession, put Sonny and Brennan a bit more on the inside than opposed to the outside, and keep inverting the fullbacks. So there is a few variations to our play, and I'm loving the look of it. I really am. Number 2, we're going to be looking at Vicario saving Spurs.
Yeah, and Vicario yesterday was a big element as to why Spurs were able to keep a clean sheet against Qarabag, despite the fact we went down to 10 men and conceded a lot of chances. Obviously, he made a brilliant recovery challenge when Ben Davies makes a big mistake, nearly letting Juninho in behind again, which happened in the first 7 minutes, which caused Dragusin to get sent off. This time, Vicario wises the situation, charges out his box, and does a brilliant sliding challenge. I think yesterday he made 5 saves, with the best one coming from that long-range effort from the Qarabag left-back, which allowed him to make a brilliant save, tipping it over the bar. He actually won 2 out of 2 aerial duels as well, which is good. And he actually won 2 out of 2 ground duels. So that ground duel he won probably wasn't the only one as well. He made 1 high claim and just had a bit more confidence and command of his area than he has in other games, which we definitely needed in this game when we were going to be under a bit more pressure than in other games. So I thought he had a brilliant display, Vicario, and it just wasn't just the saves, but his all-round presence really helped us in this one.
Yeah, and he's come under a bit of criticism, hasn't he, after the Brentford game, which I thought by and large he played really well, but there were a couple of mishaps in there, obviously the handball and him trying to play out the back where we nearly conceded that goal, and obviously that corner from the Arsenal game. But I think he just got everything spot on in this one. His rushing out the back, his sweeping was brilliant, his command of the box was brilliant. He made a top save in there as well when Qarabag had that shot from range. So you got to give him utmost credit, and he ended the game with the captain's armband on as well, which we saw that he was part of the leadership team, and he got actually the captain's armband before Ben Davies, which was interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if that's an indication of the standings in the squad now, because I think maybe
100%.
Maybe last season Davies would have got the armband.
Definitely.
And this is the question I asked to one of the guests yesterday, but you know, as I was saying, you know, our last goalkeeper was a goalkeeper we had for, you know, a decade, and he was a leader in the group. Do you back Vicario to be that kind of guy we can actually have for the next decade?
I think yes. I think for the most part his assets are really strong. There are things that he needs to brush up on and things that he needs to improve on, which you got to expect from any player, to be honest. So I want to see him command that 6-yard box a bit better, be stronger when he's been crowded out a little bit. But I think for the most part, the most things that he does do, when you're looking at his sweeping, when you look at his shot stopping, and potentially his playing out the back, can do a bit of work. But I'm happy with it for the most part. I think we've got a good keeper, and if he can brush up on those things, I have no doubt that he can be here for the very long term. Number 3, we're going to look at Solanke's hold-up play.
Yeah, and I think Solanke did such a good job for the team yesterday. He had to do a lot of work, considering we were down to 10 men and he wasn't maybe going to get the service he would have got in other situations where we have more men on the pitch. But I thought yesterday, obviously off the ball with his pressing, he was absolutely phenomenal, was able to charge down the Qarabag defender for the first goal, and obviously he was a poacher's effort the second goal, for the third goal to seal the game. But I thought the amount of work he did off the ball, just holding it up, being a nuisance for the Qarabag defenders when we were a bit of trouble and they were pressing, we could go direct to Solanke, knowing he could hold it up for us, and he could just hold off a few Qarabag defenders and just allow Tottenham to get out of the pitch and win some free kicks and just, you know, break up the play a bit as well, and from from Qarabag's point of view. I thought Solanke was absolutely fantastic, and he actually ended up the day with reward with a goal and assist as well, and that's now 3 goal contributions in his last 2 games, and he's really starting to get grips with the front three now, which was always, wasn't going to click straight away, but he's definitely starting to build those relationships with the front three, and you can just see what he's going to bring to this team. He brings something which we just haven't had before, and it's hopefully starting to add a new element to our attack.
A lot of times when you've got a new number 9 and they're missing chances, which they should probably stick away, and you've seen them stick away like similar chances in their previous team, I think there'll be a bit of negative connotations about him. But when you're looking at what he actually brings to the team, in his hold-up play, his sheer physical presence, his work rate, everyone's kind of buying into Solanke, aren't they? And I think that's a credit to him, because it's very easy just to look at those missed chances and being like, this guy's another dud. But because of all the aspects that I just said, he's actually, building up a lot of goodwill and good faith with the Tottenham fan base. And I think he's just getting better and better and better every time we see him play. And his work rate is getting stronger and stronger and stronger every time we see him play.
And he said, he came in his first game, he got an injury, and he said it broke up his rhythm a bit.
Yeah.
And obviously, the first game he came back, unfortunately, was Arsenal, where it's always going to be a difficult game. But he's now, you can see he's starting to find that rhythm again.
100%.
And it hasn't taken that long.
Hasn't taken him that long as well. And 2 goals in his last 2 games, 2 poachers' efforts. First one off a Maddison shot, the second one off a Sonny shot, rebound off the keeper. Dom is there, right place, right time to stick the ball in the back of the net. And it's just unfortunate that he did pick up that injury, because if he didn't, he probably would have got up and running a lot quicker than he has done. But we're here now. He's growing into the season, and he's going to get a goal at Old Trafford this weekend.
Exactly. Come on.
Number 4 is fortune favours the brave in this game, anyway.
Yeah, and definitely I think fortune is the right word, because as much as, look, I commend the team for how they played, and obviously we won 3-0 and it's an impressive result and the outcome was good. We definitely, there's no game, don't get it twisted, we definitely had some fortune in this one, because Qarabag did have some, a good level of chances. They had 2.19 XG, obviously 3 big chances on the day, which is actually only the same as Tottenham, which is interesting enough, but still 3 big chances on the day. They missed a penalty. Juninho skewed one wide in the 6-yard box. They had that moment where Davis was tackled and could have caused us problems. Obviously, they had the chance, which drags him down. That would have been a 1-on-1 as well. They hit the post. Juninho hits the outside of the post as well. They had a goal ruled out through offside, albeit it was offside, so it was the right decision, but that was a close moment as well. So as much as we definitely were brave in this one, we definitely did get a lot of fortune, it's fair to say, to get a clean sheet.
Look, it wouldn't be Spurs with a few heart and mouth moments with it. So we can't just do anything as simply as maybe the fans would want it. But yeah, look, there were definitely a lot of fortuitous moments in the game yesterday. But we got away with it. We got the 3-0 win, kept a clean sheet with 10 men for 90% of the football match yesterday. So you got to give the team credit, but definitely fortune favoured the brave yesterday. So it was good to see. Fortune definitely didn't favour the brave when we played Chelsea at the beginning of last season. But let's move on to the 5th and final takeaway, and that is a good start to a new format.
Yeah, and that win puts us into the top 4 of the new Europa League standings. It's now obviously the new format, a 36-team league. Everyone goes into one league, and with that win in the opening game week, we are in the top 4, which obviously the top 8 go directly into the last 16 of the Europa League and avoid that playoff game. So that's going to be really crucial in this one if we want to avoid that fixture congestion and having those extra games and putting more burden on the squad. So look, it's only the first game. You can't obviously make too many judgments, but it is a good start, and it's good to be in the top 4, and just hopefully we stay there.
All right, and that is our 5 takeaways from the Qarabag game yesterday. Just quickly, there's been some news about Sonny and his injury that has just come out, saying the player wants to train tomorrow, and assuming that's the case, he will train, and then his availability for Manchester United will be assessed from there. So there's definitely something going on there, though.
I mean, that's positive.
Yeah, it's positive for sure.
Because he's not ruled out, and if he felt an injury, he would have been ruled out. So that's good. And look, if maybe even if he's on the bench, if he can come on and be an option off the bench as well, that could be good. So let's hope he'll be involved tomorrow. If he has to miss one game, it'll be bad, but it doesn't sound too serious is the positive thing.
Yeah. And obviously, as well, Richarlison has been pictured training on the grass at Hotspur Way as well. So maybe he's nearing full fitness and back to availability. I'm not sure if he'll be available this weekend or not, but he is training on the grass. It looks like he's still training away from the team, though, and just with a fitness trainer.
Yeah, 100%. So that's really positive as well. If we can have Richarlison and Solanke as two options, I think that's going to be really good options to have, in my opinion. We just need Richarlison at full fitness, and then as well, we can take Solanke off on some occasions, bring Richarlison on. All of a sudden, that's another threat there, and he's another presence there. And also, you can maybe play them together if we need a goal late in games. So I think getting Richarlison fit is going to be really crucial.